My name is Mike, and for the past 35 years I have been studying stories that reveal deeper truths about human nature and justice. Today I want to share with you a story that will change how you see power and revenge forever. She arrived like royalty, and everyone was shocked when they discovered who she really was. The billionaire invited the humble housekeeper as a cruel joke. The grand ballroom of the Morrison estate exploded with malicious laughter when Sarah Collins descended the crystal staircase wearing a gown worth more than most annual salaries. Robert Morrison whispered to his guests, raising his champagne glass, "Our dear housekeeper Sarah." His friends' laughter echoed through the hallway. Robert had even invited photographers to document his teaching moment. She had grown up in halls like this before cleaning them became her survival, and some storms do not destroy you. They teach you to dance in the rain. And silent, watching wealthy people treat each other with fake pleasantries while treating her like she did not exist. For 3 years, 37-year-old Sarah had cleaned every corner of that Manhattan mansion, invisible, a past Robert would have erased if he had known it existed. She had retrieved it from her own past. After all, when a person like you receives an invitation, what a delightful surprise. Sarah's calm voice cut through the air like sharp silk. "Finish your sentence, Robert." The invitation arrived 4 days earlier with Robert Morrison cruel smile. Charity auction Friday night. Dress code is black tie elegance. You surely have something appropriate. There was strength that did not match the submissive woman he knew. It was an obvious trap. A public humiliation to put her in her place before New York high society. 100,000 says she does not show up. Robert wagered with his wife Elena. If she does, she will be our entertainment. But Robert did not know two things about Sarah Collins. As Sarah walked through the hall under mocking glances, her posture remained straight, her gaze calm, like someone carrying secrets that could turn their world upside down. Grace Thompson whispered, disguising her insecurity with cruelty. "She probably rented that dress and will pay in installments." What they did not know was Sarah had not bought, borrowed, or rented the dress. Robert approached, chest puffed with arrogance. "A person like me?" "No, Robert. I am feeling exactly where I have always belonged." Something in her tone made Robert hesitate. Someone who does not normally attend sophisticated gatherings. He recovered. Not submissive or nervous, but dangerously serene. Overwhelmed. Robert cleared his throat, trying to regain control. 25 years ago, when she was Emma Collins Morrison. Sarah smiled, and did, until he died. The atmosphere shifted completely. "Everyone," he announced loudly, "I would like to introduce our special guest, Sarah, our dedicated housekeeper. When she got pregnant, your father promised to care for us. The history you tried to erase when you decided certain family members never existed. Someone who had weathered far worse storms." Cruel laughter echoed as cameras flashed for mocking social media posts. The traditional Morrison family ring with its distinctive emerald, passed down for generations. Sarah stood motionless, all eyes on her. Instead of expected embarrassment, there was unsettling calmness. Sarah continued relentlessly. "The man you told your children died without an heir. Tell me, how long did it take to choose that gown? You decided it was easier to pretend we never existed, an inheritance attorney. And Dr. Williams, the family private physician. You cut our support, sold the house your father bought my mother, and left us in poverty. Interesting philosophy, considering you inherited 100% of a fortune that should have been divided. Robert, do you think I came without proof?" Helen Morrison approached with poisonous friends. Robert said desperately, "David Lee." "Oh, this dress has special history." Sarah replied with unnerving composure. "It belonged to my mother, my grandfather. And where did her mother get such a dress?" Grace laughed nastily. "Some fancy consignment shop. If you talk, you will never work as a doctor again. And that woman and her illegitimate daughter will fend for themselves. My mother wore this the last time she was in a ballroom like this." Robert turned slowly. Had funny how some people conveniently forget their family history. Changed his will to include Sarah and was about to report you when he Sarah's laughter held no humor. I am not your cousin, Robert, I am your half-sister. I spent 3 years preparing, gaining access, collecting proof. It is earned through choices we make when no one is looking. Showing strange symptoms. Face paling. What did you say? Photos and recordings for all guests to see. Amanda Davis, New York most respected investigative journalist. Bank transfers, embezzlement evidence, blackmail recordings. This is an official confession being recorded for legal purposes. Williams, keep your mouth shut about anything unusual in the old man blood. 25 years of cleaning my father blood off his killer hands. I applied specifically for this position. Robert tried desperately. The inheritance was distributed years ago. She thanked Sarah. You could have destroyed us completely but chose to protect my children. Our history. You want to know how I got this evidence? I did not come here by accident. This is not a game, Robert. It is history. 25 years ago, I was forced to sign a falsified death certificate. Thomas Morrison did not die naturally. He was slowly poisoned with digitalis over months. Merit-based promotions and respectful environments created productivity Robert never achieved with toxic leadership. And we have Thomas Morrison actual will, Sarah said softly. Half has always been mine by right, Robert said, but his voice lacked conviction. Sarah smiled dangerously. Deafening silence followed. He, Collins Morrison. Amanda Davis projected documents. When police sirens approached, Robert looked at Sarah one last time. You are delusional. Sarah stepped forward. The best revenge is not destroying those who hurt you. Walls once displaying arrogant trophies now showed charitable certificates and photos of promoted employees. She pulled out a signet ring. Fair wages, before leaving. This tissue sample was tested last week. The digitalis levels were fatal. This ring was given to my mother by her father, Thomas Morrison. Revenge would have been doing to him what he did to me. It is building something so great that the injustice becomes only the first chapter in a triumph story. Justice is ensuring he pays for crimes committed and others do not suffer what I suffered. Where did you steal this? Robert demanded, visibly shaken. You cannot steal something that is rightfully yours by birthright. More importantly, he learned that dignity cannot be bought, inherited, or stolen. The room exploded in murmurs. Robert looked struck by lightning. Thomas Morrison had an affair with my mother, Catherine, for 6 years. Sarah pointed directly at Robert. I had no obligation. Robert began. No obligation to care for your father family. Prove it. Sarah smiled predatorily and motioned toward the entrance. 3 people entered who would change everyone's lives forever. Dr. Williams walked to the center, hands shaking but voice steady. The hall erupted. Amanda Davis raised her hand. Miss Collins is filing a $75 million civil suit for wrongful death and inheritance misappropriation. Your father discovered the money you had been embezzling. Dr. Williams continued. David Lee produced an official document. Sarah connected her phone to the sound system. A recording played. Robert, unmistakable voice. Absolute silence followed. Even Robert defenders now avoided him. 25 years. Sarah screamed, her composure finally breaking. Actually, when there is murder evidence, all assets can be redistributed according to the original will. She regained her deadly calm. My biggest mistake was believing you would change on your own. Even if true, it does not change anything. David Lee smiled. People who had arrived as Robert friends now treated him like he was radioactive. Sarah approached Robert, now cornered like an animal. Please. Robert whispered, all arrogance gone. This will destroy our family. Not to her small apartment, but to a comfortable house where she had adopted 3 orphaned children who, like her, needed second chances. You destroyed our family when you chose money over justice. The next 3 hours turned Manhattan's most exclusive auction into high society biggest scandal. Each revelation drew gasps of horror. In addition to criminal charges, David Lee announced, your company is worth $180 million. Evidence showed Robert had blackmailed politicians, bribed judges, and diverted charity funds. You have destroyed my life. No, Sarah replied, standing with dignity. You destroyed your own life when you chose evil. I just ensured the truth came out." 8 months later, Sarah Collins Morrison sat in Robert Former office, completely renovated. Robert received 30 years without parole for murder, fraud, blackmail, and tax evasion. His fortune was confiscated for victim compensation. In 8 months, Sarah increased company profits 50% simply by treating employees like human beings. Elena divorced and moved away with her children. "Children do not pay for parents' sins," Sarah had replied. "They deserve chances to be better." The company now sponsored employee scholarships, supported underserved entrepreneurs, and created New York's largest domestic violence fund. During a Fortune magazine interview, when asked if her revenge was too cruel, Sarah replied, her advice to those facing similar injustices. That night, Sarah returned home. Sarah's real victory was not dethroning Robert. It was proving that power built on justice rather than fear multiplies and benefits everyone around you. Robert tried to humiliate a housekeeper and discovered he had underestimated an heiress. If this story touched your heart, remember that good always wins with the right strategy, and sometimes the most dangerous person in the room is the one everyone chooses to ignore.